Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Universal Open Season 2, presented by Brisk and 7-Eleven. We've just seen our first match of the day where we had Full Metal Gaming winning in a 3-1 fashion over their opponents, USF Bulls. But our next game we're going to be bringing you right now is Birdz and Beez taking on Dinglebell. Dinglebell. Got it right this time. Absolutely nailing it today, gentlemen. What are we thinking about this one in our second game? Of course, another elimination game here. The loser does go home to be joining the likes of J-Lo and USF Bulls.
Well, what am I thinking? I'm thinking it's good to see Derek and Bill play a team that isn't NRG2.
Yeah.
God, that's going to trip me up every single time. It's just like it's one or the other, and it's never both, and it feels weird saying NRG2. But I will get there at the end of the day, and I think I'm ready to see Derek and Bill really show mostly what they can do. They only put up 5 goals yesterday versus JNaps and Garrett G, so kind of curious to see how much chances they get on offense here against Birdz and Beez.
And Shogun, that's the
Nailed
one,
it.
That's
Got
name.
it.
Yeah.
You got it. You see, you never forget my name. It's because I'm more
your name.
important than you. However, I think this is going to be a very interesting match on set. Much more interesting than the look that you just gave me.
I genuinely wish sometimes everybody could see Shogun off camera, because he's just been, giving me heart symbols and love, and as soon as he goes on, turns into a savage, and that's why I like you. That's why I respect you. But let's talk about both these teams here.
People are nicer off camera.
Yeah, they are.
True.
That's actually
no.
most
Most
people
are meaner off camera, aren't they?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think I'm nicer on camera.
Let's talk about the team that we haven't seen so far. Let's talk about Birdz and Beez. What can you tell us about these players? Are these another unknown quantity, or is this another couple of players that might pull out a little surprise for us today?
Roldiz and Sipical have kind of been around a couple of community tournaments, but other than that, again, sort of not too much to go off of other than, yeah, they're not half bad, and that's kind of about it.
They're not
I mean, they've got 2 wins under their belt.
That's
so
a
at
good
the
point,
very
yeah.
least, I mean, when you come into these tournaments, the big thing, don't go 0-2. That's what everyone says to themselves. Do not go 0-2. If you can pick yourself up a win, that's great. If you've got 2 wins, that's a successful tournament at the very least.
I was going to say, it's all about progression, isn't it? Yeah, I think you mentioned at the start, the players going from the ranked game into, the professional sphere, these tournaments, trying to test their skills and see how far they can progress. When you start entering these tournaments, you're not going to win them straight away. It's very obvious, but it's all about progression. It's about seeing how far you can get. Can you get another round next time you enter one of these tournaments? Can you progress into that next round? Can you get through that that lower bracket and give yourself a chance of qualifying? But that's enough from us here, because we're about to get into our second match of the day, and it is of course going to be Birdz and Beez taking on Dinglebell.
Well, Birdz and Beez looking to try and keep their fortunes positive, whilst Dinglebell were forced to look at least somewhat average against a phenomenal NRG2 squad yesterday. However, not every team you take on is going to be of that caliber, and now we're going to be able to see what they are capable of doing. Jeeves, I feel like for this game especially, because now we're reaching the other sort of round, I think we can start seeing a lot more high-level play when it comes to these 2 teams against each other. That's going to be an immediate shot. Derek, though, perfectly placed to clear the ball. What can we expect to see that we didn't see in the last few games?
You're going to see shots like that from Sipical with a solid air roll. It's not a bad clear from Derek, actually. Gets it all the way out to safety. Roldiz with another great pass out of reach of the defense, and Sipical flying upside down around. Bell clips the post, goes sailing on by, can't stop it. So a nice shot from Sipical. And what do you expect to see, Shogun, to loop back around to that? You're going to see a lot of decent offense. That's what you're going to see.
A lot more purposeful offense, as there's going to be the pass immediate. See a lot of time for some of the players, they're just sort of making up as they go along. Over this match, expect people to really know what they want to go for almost immediately, and if it doesn't start to work out, as soon as they know that the plan is not working out, they can immediately start rotating back rather than trying to scramble for a play. Derek, there in time to stop Sipical, the goal scorer in the opening few moments. Remember, Birdz and Beez, not necessarily a team that we've heard too much about, but if they were to get a win here, I'm sure we'll be hearing plenty of them, because they will be making it through to tomorrow, our final day of qualification, at least for this region. Sipical forced to rotate back. Doing a pretty good job of holding that midfield so far. Wants to go up high. Drop straight down. Derek clears the ball. That could be dangerous, but Sipical is already rotating back. He stole the boost from the back right-hand corner. And that is going to be a not great touch. Shot on target, but Roldiz in the way. First bit of offense Dinglebell have had so far. And it looks like it's going to go away just as quickly as it came across.
Yeah, it was really good poise from Roldiz in the net. And to be honest, the execution on offense from Dinglebell was a little bit weak there. The pass across was a little bit slow. The shot was a little bit slow. It all could have been a lot better. That one probably should have found the back of the net as well. So Derek and Bell needing maybe a little bit to really get settled in here.
Yeah, not the best start from them so far. They've allowed Birdz and Beez to control the pace.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a phenomenal block, and that could be dangerous. It's going to go across the line, but Derek does not want to move forward just yet. Instead, allowing the boost to be wasted. But Bell choosing to rotate back. Bump will happen, but Sipical not bumped away, just knocked down to the floor. Still, 1 goal is the difference in our opening matchup. That's going to drop down, but Derek covering very well. You're going to see that quite often here, where one player is just going to consistently go for the save. The next player, that's job is just to clear the lines, maybe create the next opportunity. Derek now to the corner.
Now, Derek and Bell yesterday when they played in our G2, they allowed a lot of goals, but they did have to spend pretty much the entire series back on defense. And to be honest, for who they were playing against, their defense was pretty solid. So I'm really kind of expecting Birdz and Sipical to really have to put in some work if they want to get one through. But right now, the defense is looking a little bit scratchy.
1 goal is all you need.
Goodness.
2 goals is just even better. Birdz and Beez, they're already up. You were talking about that really good defense, but
yeah, right.
Didn't really show it right there.
Yeah, if that's not like classic caster curse, I don't know what is. I feel a little bit bad for being like, yeah, they actually did pretty good on defense yesterday, and then they're just like miss, and it's in. Okay.
Well, the 2-goal search is now on for Dinglebell. Nobody around for the infill pass. Bell's touch forced into the corner, just trying to buy some time to get that defense back.
Oh.
Every single time Birdz and Beez have got someone around, you can see just how difficult it is for Bell to try and find some gap. And then we see it from Derek. Just every time there's no movement available for them. The infield pass, Sipical does not want to commit. Finds himself too close, no real need to jump.
Oh, what a play.
Oh, that is an unnecessary double commit, however, to the other end of the pitch. It rolls in the worst way possible for Dinglebell. It can bounce out, it could do anything else, but as soon as it rolled up, it's done.
Anything but straight up. And that is honestly, kind of takes the wind out of your sails a little bit. A minute left, you're asking a lot of any team, especially with how well Sipical and Birdz are playing on defense. To get 2 goals in that short amount of time, Bell's trying to dive down and get that on a dribble going, but I don't know if they've got enough time. Just Birdz and Sipical playing some sound 2v2 right now. It's pretty textbook.
Sipical, plenty of time.
Aware of the time too right there as Sipical caught that. He jumped up initially in case someone was coming to challenge him, and he said, wait, nobody's here, and he just let it fall back down and try and get a better touch.
The time that they're all going to be very aware of is that 30 seconds remain in game number 1. That is a great pass straight down. Message sent by Birdz and Beez as Onset just looks at me and he shows the okay sign. He was plenty pleased with that one.
It was a good one. They've got some great recognition. They're taking what Bell and Derek give them. They're noticing the gaps in the defense, and they're placing the ball. They can't go and get it. It's just some solid offense. It's not crazy. It's not flashy. Okay, the first goal from Sipical was a little flashy, but the other two have kind of just been like, look, we're gonna take what you give us, and they've nailed it every time.
And they're very close to that very rare clean sheet we saw. I think about 6 across all of the games yesterday, and those were including the ones off broadcast. Barely any happening. That's going to be a smoke screen. The follow-up shot will not be around, and the post is the savior.
Smoke screen is honestly like the most terrifying thing on defense.
Just jump.
You're just sitting there in the net, and then someone explodes in front of you, and you can't see anymore, and you're sort of like a little terrified for however long it takes for that to clear. And well, it's the worst.
Speaking of being terrified, suddenly on set, everyone's a little bit terrified of Birdz and Beez. We were sort of writing them off coming into this one, and they did that.
That's what these broadcasts are for. Getting involved in these tournaments, it shows exactly what you can do. We unearth some gems, is the best way to say it, because that was incredibly impressive, fundamental 2v2 Rocket League.
Yeah, it was pretty clean. I mean, I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about it in the midfield. They even limited Bell and Derek what they could do in that game. They only put 3 shots on the board. They had to make 6 saves between them both.
Now, if I was trying to force some criticism out, maybe don't double commit when you're 2 goals up.
Didn't matter. They didn't even score. Didn't even score.
They required PvE to come in and help them out there, but
Map OP.
Everything outside of that one mistake, I mean, you take a look at that. That is coordination at its finest.
Yeah, it was very impressive, and it was, you know, we had the first goal, which is a fantastic individual play, but you guys talking about yesterday, you need more than a plan A when you're doing 2v2s. And I think that's the first time we've really seen one of the teams in this tournament, you know, outside of maybe, you know, NRG2, who
just do whatever.
They
just do whatever they want.
They can do whatever they want, but who seem to have clocked onto this. You know, we've seen a variety of different goals scored there. Defensively, also very sound. Could be a bit of a dark horse here for qualification potentially.
Certainly not a bad team, and these guys are on the they would play the winner. I'm not good at brackets. I need the bracket in front of me, so before I just trip over that.
We'll give you a brisk bracket update as soon as we can achieve. Don't worry, we'll get you covered. But as you can see in the background, game number 2 is underway. Gentlemen, take it away.
Well, Birdz and Beez not only taking the win in the last match, but they kept Dinglebell to absolutely no goals. Dinglebell looking to try and start this match by correcting that problem.
Yes, they
for
will.
her side, but Roldiz finally able to clear that one away. Typical infield pass. That is very far away, though, all the way from the halfway line. That should not trouble Bell too much, but they've got control of the field. They should be able to take control of the boost. You can see Typical, he's in no rush to try and put this one forward.
And this is really going to be the big adjustment game for Dinglebell as well. They're going to have to say, okay, what did they do well? And what they did well last game was putting the ball into space where neither Bell or Derek could get it. They're going to have to just figure out a slightly different approach to how they rotate. And Birdz and Beez, they need to start winning a lot more of these challenges. These are some very neutral challenges that Birdz and Beez are forcing. They're not clearly going in one team's favor or another. And overall, Roldiz and Typical just have the better position on those, and they're getting out in front.
Derek just trying to muscle away through. He's done exactly that, but Bell's shot is blocked. Every single time a gap opens up, Birdz and Beez just able to shut it almost immediately. Bell by himself goes on the backboard, well positioned by him.
Oh, can you get that? Okay.
He's got space to allow Derek in, but I don't think they quite knew what they wanted to do with that. But unfortunately for them, neither did their opponents. Far side, Bell looks for the drop down. These corner passes have not worked so far. They've tried it a couple of times so far in game number 2. Haven't found any success. Typical by himself. He might only need himself off the crossbar. Still 0-0.
At least Dinglebell are starting to get a slight foothold over on the offensive side. Not a big fan of the big touches forward. Trying to chase things down. That's one thing Birdz and Beez definitely has them beat at in this series so far, is recognition of how much time they really have and taking full advantage of it.
Yeah, Dinglebell trying to force a speed game right now. A speed game that they are currently losing. And not only are they losing the speed game, they are currently losing the game. 1-0 down.
I mean, there's not too much to say here. Bell's just a little bit too close to Derek. A lot of faith in Derek getting that touch. He's ready to move forward onto the offense. One person misses. The second person isn't in the best position. They try and limit the damage, and unfortunately, you know, you'd make the hole bigger.
4 goals to nothing throughout this entire series so far. Dinglebell might be about to hit crisis alert. The second game not quite going their way so far. Derek can't get that ball on his hood. As soon as it started rolling, he knew that play was over. But the boost steal could do well.
Oh, they bumped each other in the net.
And these shots really in a dangerous position. They're not getting this ball high enough. It's difficult. Looks for the follow. And there was the option there. Roll will eventually go for the shot. He's got it in. You could see him. He turned around because he thought, there's no way I'm going to get this opportunity.
Yeah. What the? Bell, you got to hit that ball, my friend. That was just a weird mixed bag of awkward defensive choices from Derek and Bell. Derek on the rotate back. He really rushed right into the net. He didn't even take the corner boost on his way in. Kind of might have made Bell jump out of the way because he didn't want to get bumped by his own teammate, maybe challenging before he even wanted to. That was just an odd showing.
Bell all the way to the other end of the field. Straight up that backboard. That roll-up has just been a consistent pain in the side of Dinglebell. That demo, though, should be very useful. There'll be no passing options for Typical. Just going to waste time right now. Let his teammate get back into a decent position.
Still forced a challenge. He didn't get a piece of it, but he did force them to put it out into neutral ground and buy a ton of time for Diz.
Oh, that's a no-touch right there. The shot straight down to Bell. 2-0 is something they can recover from. 3-0 with this little time remaining could be killer. Birdz and Beez.
Good chance. Oh,
Trying to get it. There will
just
be
kidding.
goal number 1, though. It took almost 9 minutes, but Dinglebell are on the board, and they're on board with time to spare. They can get this back.
Yeah, you can really see Sypical trying to get all the way around the outside of that ball, quickly slice that ball across the pitch. Bell with a solid read on that one. Recognize, you know, here comes that big wide cut to the outside, and the hard infield pass is coming. Reads it well. Gets a little bit fortunate with the pinch, but, you know, either way, I'm pretty sure he was going to score that off the breakaway.
Well, suddenly, there's the opportunity there for Dinglebell. They look to try and find a way back into this matchup. Straight back down.
Nice
Derek
demo.
has got the demo, but he doesn't have the shot. Everyone forward. Almost the entire play was done
Can't catch
correctly. There was just simply no finish there. Block attempted. Sypical and teammates. Teammate, I should say. 45 seconds away from match point. Roll. They're in time. Dinglebell stuck in their own half. The worst place they could possibly be. As it comes all the way out. They've committed pretty heavily, but they've already got Sypical starting to move back. Bell on the far side is an option, but straight down the line. That seems almost wasteful at this point in time from Dinglebell. The option was there. The pass was right in front of him. Now looking for the ceiling. Flip reset. Drop straight back down, but the extra touch will kill the momentum. And if this goes in, it could very well kill the game. 10 seconds. Bell to the far side. Dinglebell got to put something together. They've got to put it together right now. That bounce will not help out either. Bell could not get any extra pace. That will drop down. 2-1. 2-0 up. Upset alert is now on.
The upset alert is on.
I'm
You're
just
right.
thinking, and it's. I feel like I don't know enough about Roldiz and Sypical to really call this an upset, you know, because it's
I feel like we spend a lot of time trying to search for the new names out there, trying to sort of peruse to make sure we are aware of the next one's coming up. So when someone sort of takes us by surprise like this, it's a big deal, especially to us, because these are now players that we're going to be looking at in the future and just going, okay, we know who you are now. Everyone knows who you are now. There are expectations upon these guys.
A little bit.
I'd have to agree with you. And the thing that's actually impressing me quite a lot is, as I say, it's almost like I mentioned in the first game, is the ability to mix up their play. That, you know, defensively they've been very solid. You've seen, you know, they were a little bit unfortunate there with the goal that they conceded. You could see the idea they were going for, looking for that infield pass. Unfortunately, it was a good read. But, you know, I think you make a really good point there. You know, next tournament comes around, you know, these players aren't unknown anymore. These players
this is the exact point.
Everyone turns up to the match and is like, okay, we need to perform to beat these guys.
This is the exact reason why we have this tournament right now. We've got things out there for ones. We've got things out there for threes. This is the main deal for twos. There's twos players out there. There are players out there that only play twos. I mean, I know you told me that you've seen these guys previously. Yeah. I don't think you've seen these guys play this good before.
No, I've never seen Sypical and Roldiz play a twos tournament. That's for sure.
Well, it certainly seems like that is their area of expertise. Just need one more game. They've got 3 games to do it.
Well, if there's one thing that I'd like Dinglebell to fix here in this Game 3 and the rest of the entire series, I'd really like to see them take better care of the ball as they're moving up the field. They have that nasty habit of just hitting it a little bit too hard, and they can't really track it down. Like, just there. Bell hit that ball way too hard, and now they have to really fight for this ball.
Gonna drop straight back down. Very close, though, to roll. Sypical with yet another block. There's a lot being committed here from Dinglebell. Finally played back. That was pretty good, just to allow more space to happen for Bell, who can get this one dropped straight back down. But Derek had used all his boost on the previous play. Won't be there in time for this. Infield pass. Nobody around for that one. That one was more just muscle memory, saying, okay, there's a possibility there for an infield pass, so I'll probably go for it. Now back out. Sypical can see his teammate, but so could Dinglebell. Opportunity now, but immediately shut down. That is the reason why you go wide. If you can't get the pass, you can immediately turn. You can cover the options.
Spread of the field, very important in twos, even more so in twos than it is in threes. You have to cover so much of it, and that one is a missed clear. Bell's going to make them pay. That's their first lead.
Crucial as well for Dinglebell. Plenty of time left in this matchup, but he seemed almost convinced that the opponent was going to miss it as soon as he touched the ball, so it seemed like more like a bait than anything else. So just saying, okay, I know where this ball is going, but you are not quite as sure as I am.
Big advantage of position. I talk about it a lot.
This could go number 2, and it is. Suddenly, Derek and Bell rolling in game 3.
That's a great kickoff from Derek and Bell. Just you can see the two different schools of thought. They both did the same thing. Both teams decided to cheat up. One got really, really close. The other waited about halfway back, just in case that exact scenario happened, was able to react, had more space.
Yeah, those cheat ups. Oh, wow, that's going to be number 3.
Oh, wow.
Birds and Bees. We've just spent a long time building them up, but this is a catastrophe, and missing that boost on the far side was even worse than that.
That's really the only thing that allowed that entire thing to happen.
I mean, it's 2 kickoff goals. You went
Yeah.
one goal down, and suddenly it's capitulated in game number 3 for Birds and Bees. It was avoidable. A lot of these problems they currently have were avoidable.
Small mercy is they've still got 3.5 minutes to get 3 back. So, I mean, that's a goal a minute, right? How hard could it be? It's 2v2, come on.
Absolutely. As soon as they finally settle themselves down.
Here's a cut.
Infield pass is there, but immediately read. You can't make them that obvious because they will be immediately chased after. I've seen very few faked out infield passes. I would love to see someone just go for a cut and then just stay still because people are reacting.
The hardest thing about that is usually on an infield pass, it's not bouncing. If it's bouncing, you're just going to take it on a dribble. I mean, on an infield pass, usually it's rolling around the ground. So if you fake it, you don't really have any options other than to hit it that way later on anyway.
Flick up. Sipical can get it past. Has he got a second touch in him? No, but he's forced Derek up. The pace should be around, unfortunately. Just couldn't gain ball control quickly enough. 2.5 minutes remaining. Dinglebell in the driver's seat, looking to try and force the reverse sweepers. Another shot on target. Dinglebell, this is the game they needed.
A wake-up call, indeed, for Birdz and Beez, to say the least. Bell just steals that one off his hood. Sipical playing the near post. I mean, that's not the worst defensive position in the world, but you get that hard bounce off that back wall, and there's no way you're going to cover the net. You just take a guess and hope they hit it into you. There's no chance for the defense there.
Dinglebell, gotta be so happy with how this game has gone so far. Birds and Bees. I mean, we were talking about it just before we got into the match about how adapting is such a huge part of high-level Rocket League. Have Dinglebell adapted to what Birds and Bees were putting in front of them? I mean, I know we've seen 2 kickoff goals, but
I would say
else has been
not.
Dinglebell's first few goals out from neutral play.
Yeah, I don't really think they've adapted. I think they're kind of just catching Birds and Bees, you know, not controlling the game for once.
There's a lot more early challenges and a lot better challenges coming out from Dinglebell. Putting their car higher.
See, they still just launch that ball down the field. It's the exact same thing.
I mean, they don't need to do anything else.
That's
at this
true.
point
It's a
in
minute
time.
35. They're just cruising at this point, but still. I mean, you still have to win 3 games in a row. You'd like to see the approach change now while it doesn't matter. Because there's no guarantee that Dinglebell go up 2 goals in game number 4 with 2 kickoffs and be up 3-0 in, you know, a minute and a half.
That shot off the crossbar. Might just be another punch to the gut over to Birds and Bees. And find some way of cracking the Dinglebell defense. Looking to go one better right now at Dinglebell. Got beat 3-0 in game number 1. Currently on force to better that by just 1 with a 4-0 victory over here.
And rolled is.
He wants to go the entire way. Drawing circles in the ground with his car. Might even got a setup. Gonna drop down. Derek thinking about it. Wanted to go for the ground pinch. That's the second time he's attempted that this game.
It's a good idea, though. It's very powerful from that close if you get the angle right.
Very difficult to pull off, though.
Yeah, if you get the angle right, it's pretty much unstoppable.
It's going to go over the top. Can Diz finally find the
doesn't have
first
enough.
goal? And they will. 4 goals to 1. But unless Dinglebell can give away some kickoffs just like we saw earlier on for Birds and Bees, it's going to be difficult.
And I was going to say, it's good of Roll Diz and Sipical in this game number 3, excuse me. Like, they kind of stopped the bleeding after that 4th goal. There was a pretty long stretch of time, 2.5, maybe about 2 minutes time, where they didn't really let Derek and Bell put a super big threat on the net. And as soon as that happened, I mean, Derek and Bell haven't really accomplished hardly anything. They got a foothold for once. They forced it into a bit more of a neutral battle, and they put one on the board for it.
Free jump on the far side won't be met.
Just for the heck of it, you know. Why not?
Speaking for the heck of it, can we see one more goal? The pre-jump from Derek. Well, everyone's trying to pre-jump right now, but a good half the map away from the ball so far. Still hasn't
Put it
quite
in your own
touched the
net.
floor.
Yes!
Do it for the...
No!
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Oh, that's just disappointing right there.
I agree. I am massively disappointed. But I am happy that Dinglebell were at least able to take a game, get a little bit of ground here in this series. And now Birdz and Beez, honestly, I don't even think you sweat that loss, to be completely honest. You find yourself in a deep hole really, really early, and you know exactly what caused that. It's just like, look, man, we need better kickoffs. Move on. Let's go to Game 4.
So we have a series on our hands, gentlemen. Just when we thought things were starting to settle down a little bit, we were going to see another 3-0. So all of a sudden, we have a game and things turn around a little bit.
Well, yesterday was full of 3-0s, wasn't it? And then the first game today, we get ourselves a 3-1. This time around, we've 2-1. Maybe, just maybe, the first Game 5.
He's cursed it already. He's cursed it already. Chiefs, you smiled. We knew exactly what that meant. It means that
I wasn't
we
too
know
bad with
anything.
it yesterday.
Birdz and Beez are winning this game.
This one's done.
Yeah,
you
this
killed
one's
it,
done. Do you know
Shogun.
what? We're not even going to show it. No, of course we're going to show it to you guys. But yeah, just one game away still, obviously, from taking the match. But the guys on Dinglebell have given themselves a real chance here.
Yeah, but still, the big thing they need to change is their approach on the offense. I said it in the middle of that game. You need to take better care of this ball, because as soon as that, bunch of offense early on died out, they didn't really accomplish a whole lot. So they need to change that. You can't just take that win for granted and be like, yeah, we can just do the same thing and win. No, you can't. It's not going to work that way.
I would get a little bit nervous right now if I am Bird and Beez when it comes to the double central kickoffs, because we've now seen both teams happy to try and cheat that one up. That's going to come down to who's got the better kickoff. And we've only seen it once. It's a very small sample so far, but it's a very easy way to lose goals. It's definitely something they're going to want to try and avoid in this match. Derek. Just going to steal that boost away. Bell, early shot from him. Dinglebell continuing where they left off in the last game. Early lead for them. Only took 10 seconds.
Oh, Bell he was lurking in a perfect position. He was about 3/4 of the length down the pitch. He waited just in case he got that pinch off the ceiling to play defense. As soon as he saw it come down, he didn't even hesitate. That's one of the few times where double committing is really good, because you've got the timing perfect.
And Bell seems to be reading the game much better. Seemed to be struggling with that in the opening 2 games, but we saw last game he put a ball off the backboard and immediately followed it because he had the feeling that the opponents wouldn't get there in time. And speaking of not getting there in time, 2-0.
Dangerous territory.
I mean, it's happened twice now. I sort of have to look at this and just say, okay, Birdz and Beez
Hit the ball.
Like, do they sort of panic a little bit as soon as they go a goal down? Are they trying to get this back too quickly?
They
was
did go for the double
unnecessary.
tap. They did go for the double tap, and I think the double commit off the double tap was the real problem, because I forget which one. They almost had that.
Rolled is.
He
just
takes
take his time.
Love it.
Goes up high. There's some extra
I love
width
it.
on the play.
I love it.
That should be a tap-in. 1-goal game. And what an opening minute to match number 4.
And this is why you take your time moving up the field. You force that extra bit of thinking on the defensive side. You can't allow them to just play and react. That's actually how a lot of people like to play. They say, I don't like having to sit and wait and think on defense. You kind of psych yourself out a little bit. They buy that extra bit of space over in the midfield. They get a great pass all the way across the pitch and a solid finish. And Birdz and Beez right back in it.
Well, last time we saw this, the game ran away from them very quickly. This time around, they managed to stop the bleeding even quicker than last time. And that's going to be huge. They can make a real meal of this matchup. Roldiz. Up on the wall, over to Sipical. They've both committed. How much do they want that? But Derek does not want to try and play that one too early. Instead, wins the challenge. Ball down.
Oh, he's going to get demoed. Ooh, he lived.
Bell, straight back over. Sipical can follow this up, but Derek has at least been there for the challenge. Demo just about missed. Sipical then gets bumped immediately afterwards for his trouble. So Roldiz just wants to see how the ball comes towards him.
But Sipical did win all of those boosts on that right-hand side of the pitch. Really going to limit Derek and Bell's options on offense there, and that's why that drive died so quick.
Back out.
That's
early
not good.
win. That's just off target. Could still go
Oh,
in,
he didn't
and
get the
it
demo.
does. 3-1. Dinglebell looking for game 5.
Oh, Sipical, he made this decision. He's like, challenge the ball or get the boost, challenge the ball or get the boost. He kind of did both. let the ball go at the very end, and Derek just inches it off the post. He almost got that demo. If he would have got that demo, they might have had a chance to clear that ball, but just a little too late. And that is a wide open net. Hello? Birdz and Beez, ring ring. This is the Universal Open calling. Or did your controller run out of batteries?
It would not be the first time in this tournament. I wasn't quite offshore. Yes.
Feels bad, man.
Not really. It would feel bad, man, if some sort of stroke of luck went against them. But that was not a stroke of luck.
That was oh, I'm kicking off. That's that. You know that. You know what I bet that is? That's the 3 seconds is not long enough to take a drink of water. That's what I bet that is.
Bell to the side. Another
Oh.
shot on target.
Ooh.
5-1.
It's not pretty, boys. It's game 5.
I mean, I brought it up during the post-match or the post-game analysis of
3.
Bird and Beez not knowing how to play from behind. It seems to very much be the case. They are letting these games get away from them a little bit too easily.
Imagine how different this game would have been if Sipical would have... Oh, he's lost a teammate. Roll Diz has disconnected. Okay, maybe that explains what's going on here. Roll Diz might have lost internet. So now it all makes perfect sense.
It does make a little bit more sense right now. The rules of ranked are correct. It does mean Sipical can leave and not be banned. So at least he's got that going for him.
That's great. That's great. Small mercies, right?
However, this now means that we can sound the alarm. It is freestyle
I was about to
here
say,
on Universal Open.
You beat me to it.
Let's see what you've got, boys.
Derek and Bell style points. This is the one time you get to do the Rocket League All-Star Dunk Contest. You know what I mean? And he failed it. That's a 3.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're allowed a couple of different attempts. Sipical.
He's gonna let him shoot. Oh, this is great.
No, he's not. See, as long as Sipical keeps moving, all of these shots can be put on a montage.
He's gonna let him shoot. He's just cruising. He's like, here, take the ball. Oh, never mind. He
no,
wants to
he's
do it
got something of
himself.
his own. He's got the flip reset.
Oh, he's got the.
Oh, okay, he's got the best one. That's the best one we've seen. He's
Oh,
better
why
than
not?
his teammate.
Why not? Oh, he had the flip reset too. You can see Bell thinking about that the whole way too. He tried to get it at the end. He was a little bit too
It
far
was better
forward.
about it. Was, if he didn't even use the flip reset.
It just coasted, let it roll in. That would have
That's
been
something
pretty
that
filthy.
no one ever does. As soon as they get the flip reset, they always feel like they need to do it. I want someone to really obviously get the ball touch. But suddenly, the teammate, I believe, is back.
Oh.
Yes, he is, and you were better about it.
Rolled his back, and Sipical lost all of his powers. He misses a clear right here off the back wall.
He doesn't even believe him. He's telling his teammate right now, yo, I had the flip reset. I faked it out. We have a chance, but oh, okay.
Never mind. Never mind. He's too distracted by the hype.
Oh, match back on. The
Fun fact.
freestyle hour has officially hit.
It's close.
Yes, it's done now.
Only one person scored, so that makes Sipical the automatic winner of it, though. But Derek has scored his 7th goal of the series with that last one, though. Fun fact.
It is on target. That's going to go to the back of the net. 3-goal difference. With 1:11 remaining. I know
No.
this game's been a little bit ridiculous, but this is a real match still.
This is a match that does count, contrary to what you may believe at home, considering what we just did. But this one does lead into game number 5, should Derek and Bell come out on top here. And Sipical trying to make the most of it, trying to go steal some boost in the opposition half after kickoff. Rolled is. They're certainly not going to give up on this game 4. I think they kind of want to just get themselves back into form for the next 5-minute stretch here in 55 seconds.
Rolled is. Goes up high. Maybe a pinch attempt. Almost worked out, but Sipical is around. 45 seconds remaining now. Bell with the forced challenge. Derek, he thought about it, but doesn't want to see any of that. Instead, he wants to go for this one instead. Plays the ball straight out once again. Sipical has Diz as an option.
Too greedy.
Too close as well. Don't think you can really call anything too greedy when you're 3 goals down.
That's a good point. 3 goals down with 30 seconds left. Nothing's too greedy.
Could go back into the net, though. The shot is on target, but he's not around. Have to really hook across there, but the ball was always running away from him. 10 seconds remaining now. And for the first time
Game 5.
of Season 2 of the Universal Open, we have ourselves a Game 5. I'll tell you what, as long as we can have no controller, no internet, and no issues in general,
I will be happy.
I'm looking very much forward to it. Onset, you look incredibly happy over there. However, you said I was going to curse this one, so I want you to stare into the camera and apologize.
Stand by everything I said.
You're muted, buddy.
You're muted.
I'm not. I'm not muted.
Oh, now you're back.
No, I'm here. Don't worry about it.
Take two.
Take it again.
Everybody knows what I just said.
Yeah.
I apologize for nothing.
You just got
I
massively
stand by
denied.
my decisions.
I'm just gonna search. I'm just gonna look at our beautiful backdrop.
Yeah, you enjoy yourself over there. But Jenna, I mean, Achieves, me and you'll take it from here. We have
Actually,
a game 5.
people can see how bad my haircut
Finally.
is from the back. We're not doing that.
I'm definitely not turning around because I've got nothing on the back of my head. So. But we finally have a game 5. But I mean, it's a difficult one to break down that game, wasn't it? Maybe we break it down before we had
we have about
the DC. I mean, should we speculate on, potentially why that happened?
You know, honestly, I think this game would have been entirely different if Birdz and Beez had put in that equalizer at about the 4-minute mark. That double tap off the back wall.
No, we have a rule over here. Over in England, we're going to teach you this one.
Okay,
Chiefs.
okay.
It's called the you won't rule.
You won't.
Someone,
yeah, okay.
one of his mates came into the room and said, "You're playing the Universal Open. You won't leave."
You won't leave.
And at that
you
point,
won't leave.
he has no choice
It's
but to leave.
Yeah, if he's got anything about him, if he's got the minerals, he's going to be leaving. But an interesting fact now is talking about our dual force player of the match. Currently, we have Roldiz sat on 6 goals
Derek
and
at
9 saves.
How many saves did Derek have?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I've got to be honest with you. I can only relay the information of who's closest because that's
fair.
you
That's fair.
over in England. It's an English thing. Don't
So
worry.
Disney
it's gonna be my new thing. Anyway,
So Diz needs 1 goal and 2 saves.
he needs 1 goal and 2 saves.
That sounds
to
pretty
finally
normal
take
for a
home.
game.
Yeah, that sounds
exactly. It's
fairly
very,
average.
very doable. So we might well see our first dual force player of the match, otherwise known as the 7-11 moment. But we do have a game 5, all to play for. We've set it up beautifully. Maybe not in the most normal way that we might have expected in the game 4 and how things panned out. But we do have a game 5. How do you think this one's going to turn out? I love a prediction.
It's
Let's do a
this first
prediction.
goal.
Let's go.
I have to plays very well. One team sort of capitulating every single time there is an issue. So this very first goal is going to be the biggest deal in this game 5, and we're going to find out who is heading through to the next round. All to play for. However, a loss sends you out of Season 2 of the Universal Open.
Wow. At first, I didn't see Bell on the back wall there, and I was like, there is no way you leave the net wide open to start off Game 5.
We're automatically seeing a huge amount of pace to start us off. No one wants to allow any space available. I want to try and pick up that first goal. Sipical by himself. Ball rolls straight out. Roldiz.
Decent
Back over
pass.
to Sipical. Close.
That's one you really wish you had 3 people on the pitch right there.
Sipical now once again. Start of this game is all Birdz and Beez. But they've got to try and find some way of turning it into back net. And also, not only that, but making sure they do not overcommit. Remember, they are taking on players that can punish them if they do such a thing. Derek. 0 boost. Can't do a thing there. Flick from Bell is not around either, but he's forced enough respect from his opponents to force him to the halfway line. But still, this ball's stuck on in the orange side of the field. Got to get some way out. Bell might be able to offer that, but instead is off the side of his card. Now looking for the backboard. Derek should be there for the clear. It's touch not overly convincing. Will open up space for Bird and Beez to keep the pressure on.
This is really, really...
Oh,
almost.
just off the side. There's Sipical with the shot. Post! Not in!
So close from Birdz and Beez, but this has been a phenomenal opening minute and a half from them. I don't even think Derek and Bell have been on the blue half. This might be their first chance.
This is now going to be them trying to set something up for themselves. Almost chances don't count for anything here. Got to get that ball in the back of the net. Lovely block there from Derek. Wants to get another. Instead, it's going to be Diz. Block of his own. Ball is
he's too
high
close.
and loose. And Derek
Whoa.
will be beat to the ball. Why did he go for that?
Well, I think Derek, he might have initially, because he kind of sees Sipical flip right there, and then he's flicking around with the ball camera on his controller. And then all he saw was Sipical flip back towards his own half, and he said, sweet, he's going back. And he made that decision, unfortunately just didn't get full confirmation of it, you know. just let that one go.
And crucially for Bird and Beez, we've seen them fall apart after having goals scored against them early on in matches. They've got the first goal here. They've done incredibly well from this position previously. Bell off the backboard, Sipical isn't there, double commit. Should have left it for Derek, he had more of a run on, he had a better angle to shoot from. Flick up, it's off the crossbar. Bell knew just enough about that to know that it wasn't going to go in, did not want to commit to that ball. But pressure back on from Birds and Beez.
Oh, Derek's caught out a little bit.
Backboard from him, follow up from Diz, it's slow, it's dangerous, it's not in,
yes!
It is in!
Man, you want to talk about really having to work for your money right here. Roll Diz almost able to do to himself. Sipical, though, love the aggression. It's so easy to see that soft touch up on the back wall and know that the defense might be able to get this really strong clear and play a little bit too far forward, but he can recognize that it's a really awkward position, commits himself aggressively to it. If they get it, then they get it, and it's probably not going to be enough to make it worth your while.
So now 2 goals to the better, Bird and Beez. Suddenly very comfortable in this matchup, but there is still 2 minutes left on the clock. Derek, ball played all the way out. Bell has control, the demo is through, but Roll Diz is already around. Shot from Derek, just tries to force Sipical out, but he needed that ball to be higher to really cause any sort of damage on the defensive side. And it's almost blissfully cleared away from Birds and Beez. They are on the verge of knocking out Dinglebell in what has been an incredibly hard-fought series. Option is on the far side.
It's a long way to go, though. 90 seconds can feel like an eternity.
Especially if Dinglebell can get a hold of some more kickoffs. Towards the net, it's into the back of the net. 3-0. Birds and Beez, they made it hard for themselves, but they're on the verge here of progressing to the next round.
Roll Diz keeps the speed up, going around the side wall, gets a nice shot all the way from the corner of the pitch. It's so easy to mistime that jump coming around those corners, mostly because I do that all the time, and it makes me really sad that I can't do shots like that. So well done, Roll Diz.
Do you know who's not going to be all that sad right now? Birds and Beez. Cloud 9 right now for them. They've got to be feeling it.
I honestly thought you were like talking about the team Cloud9 for like that
I
long.
love that team names and player names can just remove parts of your vocab from you. Cheers a lot. Sipical. Just looking to clear those lines now. Nothing else needed, but 4 goals is better than 3. It's all but confirmed at this point. Birds and Beez have steamrolled Dinglebell in Game 5.
And this is kind of a bit of a write-off goal. This one you can't really fault Derek and Bell. They're just trying to make something happen.
Something.
It's elimination, and they got to get it. But we were talking about Roll Diz and Sipical. They both got a lot of things done. So really well done on offense for them here in this game number 4. I said it would be really telling that first minute and a half if they get boxed in on their own half. They came out here guns blazing, a lot of good offense. Didn't let Derek and Bell get anything going, controlled the pace of the game just like they did in games number 1 and 2.
You said they haven't got anything going. That dual force player of the match is on the line here, and yet Dinglebell has had no opportunities to even force that many saves out. Roll Diz, looking to fake out. Drop down, that's past his teammate, but will they care? Will they ever?
Hey.
Goes into the back of the net. It's nothing more than consolation though for Dinglebell. They are effectively out.
Effectively out is right. And what can you do? But you know, Bell gets to smile. At least he nailed the sweet double tap to close off the Universal Open run. But all credit to Roll Diz and Sipical. You educated me on what it means to have an upset. You know, they've really earned it here. And I really am curious to see how they perform on day number 3, because that's where they're headed.
And the own goal.
Why not give them another one? Why not? Why not?
Some stats padding over to Sipical. Good sports to the end are Dinglebell, but this is the end of their road. And this Game 5 just never went in their favor. It seemed like from the very first minute they were stuck in their own half.
Yeah.
And now they are stuck out of the tournament.
They honestly couldn't even get anything going on set. It was just, hey, we're going to hit the ball at you, and if you don't hit it, we're going to score.
There was a lot to take away from that match, though. Not only was it our first Game 5 of the day, I'm pleased to finally announce we have a dual force player of the match. And it is, of course, the man, Birdz. He hit 7 goals and 11 saves during that match. So congratulations to our first dual force player of the match. Of course, Birdz taking that one home, gentlemen. We've been trying to give that title away for a little bit. We finally managed to do it. So congratulations to him.
So it only takes 5 games. We need a 5-game series
5-game
to get that. Okay. You know what? If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. I'm not going to complain about that at all. That was a phenomenal series. Twists, turns, almost a reverse sweep, but...
He wasn't even there for half of Game 4.
What? No complaints. That is a man worthy of the title.
It literally had everything. Anyway, the Game 5. Let's have a quick, brisk bracket update as well to keep you abreast of everything that's going on at the moment in the tournament and see where we're standing at the moment. As you can see here right now, the teams are waiting to qualify at the end of our Eastern bracket here, and you can see Birdz and Beez moving on. They progressed to take on the winner of our next match, which will be Full Metal Gaming taking on Splice. But I mean, it was a close series. We had our Game 5. I don't think that's quite right. It was 3-2, wasn't it? I believe,
yes.
Of the series that we just saw. We did see that Game 5. So we've had it all pretty much, to be honest with you. And also, we had a lot of goals in that game. But I mean, what was the impressive thing for you? I mean, we talked about this, how it was a little bit of an underdog story, right? And there was a bit of shaky moments in the middle in that Game 3 and that Game 4. Obviously, Game 4, you know, we have to take with a little bit of a pinch of salt. And I say that because I literally looked to the left of you, and there is some salt on the...
Is there really?
Yeah, there is.
Totally
There's actually some salt there.
Right there.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, thanks for the verbal prompt there. But you know, there were some twists and turns. But do you think that's an experience thing as well? Sometimes when you're one game away from, you know, closing out a series, you can start to think
complacency,
but also, you know, nervousness. You maybe you try and do things that you wouldn't have done before.
Mm-hmm. It certainly could be, but again, like they're no strangers to playing tournaments. Birdz and Sypical, so they were able to close it out in the end. And to be honest, I mean, rest up, get ready for your next match tomorrow, because you're gonna. It doesn't matter who you're gonna play tomorrow, because they've got what, NRG, Sathstro, Space Station, and who's the other
Upper
one?
90.
Upper 90. It's like none of those matches are gonna be easy.
There's a little worry for me there, because we saw their strongest point of their gameplay was their ability to hold the halfway line.
Yeah.
Every single time Derek and Bell tried to move forward, they were basically being stopped by a brick wall. If they would take on a team like Upper 90, a team that's much stronger in those 1v1 situations, and suddenly that gets taken away, that could lead to some worries for them. It definitely wasn't something they had to worry about so far, but that strength could also be a weakness.
Well, one thing that we should also take away from that series is the amount of goals scored as well. Of course, we need to thank our fantastic sponsor, Soylent, in their fight against hunger. As we are joining them in that fight against hunger during this broadcast, there was 26 goals, I believe, scored in that last series, which translates into 26 meals for the World Food Programme. 260 meals. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. That's why I love you.
Keep you honest.
You've got your stats there. 260 meals. For the World Food Programme over in the USA, which takes us up to a total, I believe, of 470
we're gonna
meals
blitz
for today. So, yeah, I mean, the target that was set yesterday is well on its way to being beaten. So, things are looking good at the moment as far as that cause is concerned. Of course, if you want to get involved, head over to the website and get involved as well, because, you know, we want everyone involved. Also, if you want to get involved, use the hashtag UOS2, because we want you to be involved as well in the conversation. Let us know if you enjoyed that game number 5 that you just saw as well, of course, as in being here and being present for our first ever Dual Force player of the match. Now, we've got one more match to come, gentlemen. One more match to come. Obviously, we're going to see Splice again. Let's talk about the other side of that a little bit, very quickly, just before we take a quick break before we go into our next game. Their opponents here, what have they got to do to beat Splice? Because I feel like one of you is going to say something about stopping infield passes.
Yeah, Shogun, what do you think?
You can sort of like hammer this home as much as possible. I think Splice knew what they did wrong yesterday. I think they just let the moment get to themselves a little bit. We already know they are way more creative than what we saw from them. So I don't think that's necessarily going to be too much of a problem. I think for Full Metal Gaming, it's going to be very important to keep the rotation as fast as they possibly can. As soon as they drop that pace, they're going to lose what is their main threat against Splice. But if they can keep that up and they can keep challenging and maybe have someone close on the shadow, they've got every chance of taking this.
Yeah, and I think if you're full meta gaming, the big thing is going to be you have to be aware of where that second player is. It's not necessarily to defend the infield pass. You just have to be aware of whether or not you're actually beat to a ball. If you're going to go for a challenge, are you at least going to make it to that challenge before it gets beat? So being aware of what's going on around the entire length of the pitch is going to be very important for them.
Okay then, well it is time for another very quick break, but when we get back we will have our final game of the day. It's going to be Splice taking on Full Metal Gaming. As I say, the last game of the day, well we're hoping it's going to be a good one. We'll see you just after this.